EPA WA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for February 4th, 2021. We're going to get a little bit of a break in the action today where we are not going to have measurable precipitation today after 4 straight days of having it. So we had at least trace amounts of snow over the last couple of days at many locations. Of course, highlighted by that big winter storm that we had in the middle of that just dragged on and on. We actually had some flurries and some light snow showers again on Wednesday. Today we'll have mostly sunny skies and near average temperatures, so we'll get a little bit of a break, but it's going to be short-lived because we have this system moving toward us. It's going to move up into the Great Lakes, and we're going to have a cold front move through here very late tonight, early Friday morning, or actually out ahead of it. That's going to give us some snow showers for mainly the interior location, southeast of long and southeast of I-95. Should be just rain showers, we think, with this, but it's just going to be light precipitation, not really heavy. And as I move this forward, you can see that the front actually at this point is tied to this area low pressure in the upper Great Lakes region, and the front is still back here. So the cold air is not going to come in right away, but there's going to be enough cold air at the surface with this precipitation we're not running out ahead of it that you're going to have snow generally northwest of that line, and then southeast of that line you're going to be, or along it, and southeast of that line will be the rain showers that we're dealing with. So because that front is all the way back here, you're going to get a little mild on Friday. We're going to have temperatures getting north of 40 degrees in some locations before the cold air arrives behind the front. Once it crosses on Friday evening, we will have temperatures go down into in the lower 20s basically overnight, and then stay cold here on Saturday, or at least colder than average. Not a big cold push here, but enough that it gets us back below average for this time of year. So let's get over to the NAM High Res Future Simulator Radar. I'm going to start this off at 3 a.m. You see some scattered activity here at this point, but you get one little concentrated band that's going to come through. This is not a lot, okay, and it's not very wide. It's maybe a 1 to 2, maybe even 3 hour band of snow that's going to come in, but you can see where it's setting up, and it's generally in the interior locations here. And if you get down to the far southeastern PA, closer to Philadelphia, and point southeast, this should just be rain showers here, and you can see that here. Same thing across Jersey. It's mainly a North Jersey deal, but this is when this band gets going. I started this loop here. This is looking at 6 a.m. Here's 7, here's 8, here's 9, and then 10, and then that's out of here. You will have skies turn partly cloudy after it exits, but again, the cold air push is still going to be back here and waiting to come in, so you're going to have temperatures rise. Whatever you get is going to melt generally. There's not a lot of snow here, and this is what the snow maps are printing out. This is a pretty good idea, generally of 1.5, maybe 2 inches of snow in a few spots. Maybe some of these higher elevation squeak out 3 here, but this is not a lot of precipitation with this at all. So I'm not expecting much here, but just a quick inch and a half, something like that. We will send alerts for that. But if you want to look at, this would normally be, if this were a system that was coming in that did not have a preceding snowpack, this would be in the form of rain all the way up to northeast PA. This snowpack is actually helping us keep temperatures at the surface cooler, and just above the surface, cooler by a good 5-6 degrees than it would be if the snowpack was not there. Okay, so it's kind of like an insulating effect. If you think about the concept of this, and I call this an icebox effect. It's not really an official term, but if you are hosting a party at your house, it's summertime, and you have a cooler full of beverages, whatever kind of beverages, I don't care. Use your imagination. You have a bunch of ice in the cooler there to keep everything cold, right? Because it's hot outside. So if you're going in there to grab one of those beverages, you don't even have to touch the ice where it's cold, obviously. Just above the ice, you get that kind of cool rush of air coming out of the cooler because it's rising above the ice. It's the same idea here with the snowfall, or the snow. They have a deep snowpack on the ground. It's actually creating a cold layer just above it. So instead of everything starts off from the cloud as a super cold raindrop and then turns into a snowflake at some point, at some level. So instead of coming down through that layer and melting and then falling as rain, since it's cooler, it's because of that snowpack, it's now going to remain snow falling over the ground. That's why we're seeing that. So you're instead of just highlighting the higher elevations here, which are up north here, which is up here, these are the higher elevation areas, you're getting some snow falling here too, because this area right here in particular, this area is a deep snowpack area. These are the areas that we're getting 2 feet plus of snow. So there's deep snowpack in there, and that's helping to insulate things a little bit. That's why you're seeing some inch and a half snow amounts here because of that. And I think most of your accumulations are going to be generally non-paid, which means it's going to be on top of whatever snow you have now, accumulating on the snow and on your cars and things like that. So that's what's going to be, we're thinking is going to happen here on Friday morning. It's not lasting long. It's going to be in and out, and we won't be dealing with it too long. And then after that, we become partly cloudy here on Friday afternoon. Again, it's going to be north of 40 on Friday. And then once this cold front moves to return colder Friday night, and we are mostly sunny here on Saturday, with temperatures back slightly below average, and then near average here on Sunday. But this system here is going to remain southeast of the area. I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, it'd probably a 10% chance that this comes a little bit further here. The chances are very much dwindling. We're not going to completely run it off yet, but the chances are that this comes up and hits us with a big storm like the European model showed yesterday when I did the video is probably not going to happen. And the European model has since jumped ship on 3 consecutive runs since then. Okay, so I don't think this is going to happen, and the northern stream is not digging deep enough here. So this is also going to affect temperatures behind this, because if this storm was going to hit, it's because you would have had a deep trough here in the following in here, it really digging and getting a lot of cold air diving down in here. But because it's not hitting, the heights here are a little more flat. I mean, you still got cold air coming in, but it's not as deep and pronounced. So the temperatures early next week are, a lot of you have noticed that the apps, and some of you have made comments about that on the Facebook page, the temperatures are considerably warmer compared to what they saw yesterday. We're looking at highs in the teens and upper 20 or lower 20s here on Monday, and now we're looking at about 28, 30. Okay, so that's still about 8 to 10 degrees below average, but it's still milder than what we saw, and that's the reason why. It's because this storm is missing, and you don't, and because it's missing, you don't have that big deep bending trough here, trying to getting the really cold air rushing into our region. It'll eventually get here as we get past like toward the end of next week. It's going to be pretty cold then. But it looks like it's going to be delayed a little bit as far as the intense cold. So that's a good idea for your good news for your heating bills. But it does not look like this storm is going to hit. We're going to continue to monitor it, though. I mean, a slight shift here could still happen. But I'm really heavily leaning against the idea that we're going to have a snowstorm here on Super Bowl Sunday. After that, though, we have another little system coming in and we have a lot listed in our local forecast. We have snow shower chances both Tuesday and Wednesday, because the timing is a little bit off depending on what model you're looking at, and the track's a little bit off here. It's showing a system that's trying to cut up here. I don't think the cutting thing is going to happen. We'll have to watch this. This is an overrunning event, so we have an opportunity for some snow showers at least here on Tuesday, and further south in like I said, our southern area, southeast PA especially, we have a rain-snow mix in the forecast for now, because we just don't know the track of this just yet. It doesn't look like a big system, but it could bring you some rain or snow showers. The trends today has been to take this up here like this. I just don't see that happening the way this height field. Here's your southeast ridge, so it should kind of ride just north of that. In that case, you'll probably have a little bit more snow to deal with in here than shown, but we'll continue to monitor this throughout the week. We have plenty of time to look at this one, but this would be in the Tuesday, maybe Wednesday time frame of next week. But right now, it doesn't look like a big deal. It never really did, but it could be something that could give you a couple inches of snow out of that too, if things were to fall in line in place. So this low is tracking further south. You see where the heavier or moderate snow anyway is up to the northwest side of that low. If it tracks down here, that would be over us. So again, a lot of time to look at it, but right now we're just going to focus on the shorter term and the system coming in on late overnight and early Friday morning. That will be a nuisance event for most of us across the region. I'm EPAWA meteorologist Bobby Martich. That is your outlook for February 4th, 2021. Have a great Thursday.